So we have 2 more sessions left here. Next session is a keynote from Mikael from Avast. And after that, we're going to have a bunch of the big players here, a bunch of the corporates, talking about how they're adopting cyber solutions. And we're finished on this stage with the cyber track at 1 o'clock. There's actually 2 more sessions on the main stage if you want to continue on the cyber track. Mikael from Microsoft is going to be back on stage with Alex Dahl from 1011 Ventures, and they're going to have a deeper conversation in the arena stage right across the way about cloud security. And then to finish off at 1:30 on the arena stage, we're going to have the wonderful Julio Casal back with Alberto Yepes from Forge Point Capital, and they're going to have a deep fireside chat about the Alien Vault story, which is a pretty exciting story, so I recommend you guys catch that as well. Right, so things are settling down. We're going to move swiftly along. Our next topic is super interesting and a huge headache, actually, for a lot of different enterprises and individuals. The whole area of IoT, the Internet of Things, industrial Internet of Things, massive trend, massive tsunami of devices, billions and billions and billions of devices coming online, things you never actually thought would be intelligent or connected are now being connected. But what are the implications for security? Especially if these are originally dumb devices, maybe more simplistic sensors, does it make it easier to hack? What happens if you have an entirely connected home and one day you can't get out of the house because everybody's taking control of your entire connected home? Huge, terrifying issue, which kind of seems like science fiction, but we're getting closer to that every other day. Our next speaker is going to dive into this topic and look at some of the challenges and some of the opportunities around how to secure the whole area of IoT, particularly in the connected home. Our speaker is Threat Intelligence Director at Avast. Avast is one of the leading cybersecurity companies in the world, originally launching antivirus solutions for the individuals and for SMEs and corporate. They have over 400 million users around the world. They have a huge market and a data set to work with. And this is one of the key leading unicorns out of Europe in the cybersecurity space. This company recently IPO'd in the London Stock Exchange, hitting a valuation of almost $3 billion. So we're extremely excited to have them with us. Please give a warm welcome to Mikael Salat from Avast.
Hello, everybody. I'm Michael, and my day job is to go after cyber criminals and to look for new threats. I'm here today, and I'm very happy to be here to tell you about challenges in IoT security, especially for consumers, for smart homes. So let me show you a sneak peek into how your house might look like in the next few years. You can see that there is a lot of smart devices that you can buy. A few weeks ago, I was looking for a washing machine, and something as simple as that, I was able to find about 1/3 of the devices that were available in the store that had some kind of smart functionality. And this number, or this ratio, will increase in the future a lot. So here, I'm giving you a show of a few brands that offer smart devices, few types that you can go from lighting, smart locks, thermostats, TVs, routers, robots, and so on. So I've been looking for some predictions on how the IoT spectrum will look like in a few years. And the most conservative estimate that I was able to find was by Juniper Research that talks about 38.5 billion IoT devices by 2020. That's a lot. If you consider that in the world there is 7.5 billion people, including men, female, infants, that means that on average by 2020, every one of them will have at least 5 smart devices in their homes. So Avast provides an antivirus and security products to our users, and we allow them to scan their internal networks, their home networks, for vulnerable devices. Here in Spain, in the last month, our users scanned over 430,000 networks, and we found out that 10.2% of them were vulnerable to at least one attack. That means that 1 in 10 devices or 1 in 10 networks can be vulnerable to a malicious activity. And we all know that a chain is as strong as its weakest link. So you may think that when your network edge storage device is connected just to your home network and it doesn't communicate over internet, there is no way how to connect from the internet to this device, then it's safe. But that is not true. If the attacker is able to penetrate the one device that has weak security within your network, he can move laterally and access basically any other device. Just think about it. If you have a device that you can control from your home, from your mobile phone, you don't want to be hassled by passwords or fingerprints or whatever to control it when you're at home on the same network. So a lot of current devices rely on this fact that they're in a separate network to be able to control. So you can turn off your lights with just one button press. You can make your coffee on a smart coffee maker with just one button press. And that is that simple. You don't want to put in passwords. So a lot of those devices are built around convenience. We buy smart coffee makers to get our coffee in the morning pre-programmed, so when you come back to the kitchen, it's already there. And it's all about convenience. We don't think that much about security. So let me tell you about the attacks that we've seen and that we predict to happen on IoT devices. So let me start with IoT botnets. You've heard about them if you've been here for Michael's talk in the morning. You've heard about Mirai. That was the biggest attack in the history that was powered by IoT devices. And we always had problems with explaining our users why they need IoT security, because who would care about botnets, right? The device works, the user can access the internet, everything works. Just once in a while, the device might be a bit slower, and it will attack some other company that nobody cares about, right? But that's one kind of an attack. But then another issue with IoT devices is personal data. Just imagine how much information your smartwatch has about you. They know how fast your heart beats, how much you move during the day. If you have a GPS-enabled smartwatch, it knows where you are. All of this data can be leaked. 3 years ago, we were analyzing a smart TV, something that I'm pretty sure most of you, if not all, have in your home. And this one smart TV was sending every 5 seconds what the user saw on his screen to the cloud for targeted ads. It was not the whole picture, it was just a few points, but it was enough for the advertisement company to tell what the user is watching. And what was worse, it was sending this data even when you were watching YouTube. It was sending this data when you were watching your home movies, all the time. That is a huge privacy breach. And also, with many smart devices, like smart locks, for example, there is a problem with physical security. Imagine that a lot of people will set their Alexa or Google Home to be able to unlock or lock their smart lock at home, so they don't have to get out of bed to make sure they're locked in their house. Imagine that an attacker can issue a command to Alexa to unlock the door for him. It's that simple. And last but not least, the most frequent attacks in the PC sphere nowadays, and we expect that to happen with IoT as well, is ransomware. Ransomware is everywhere, and with Bitcoin and all the cryptocurrencies, especially Monero now, it made it very simple for attackers to monetize. So if they can lock a device and demand ransom, they will do it. Imagine how annoyed you will be when you come home to watch your favorite TV series, to see a message on the screen that would say, if you pay me 0.02 Bitcoin, I will unlock your TV. What will you do? Will you pay it? Will you buy a new TV? What if the problem is not with the TV, but with a smart thermostat that's been infected and is currently sending the message to the TV all the time? That's going to be an issue. So you ask, who should be in charge? Who should be responsible for security of IoT devices? Is it you, the consumer? Just please raise hands who knows how to change or how to update the firmware in your devices, let's say router. Yeah, 3. And it's probably 60 people, 50 people in here, so that's a very, very little. So we can't expect consumers to be able to go and update every single device every time that there is a vulnerability. And frankly, many vendors don't really care that much as well. So should it be vendor? And I say yes. I believe that if you buy a device as a consumer, you shouldn't care about security. You should be able to buy a secure device by design that will not have default password, which if you go on the internet and try admin, you'll be able to connect to many, if not most devices that are available online nowadays. You should be able to expect that the communication is encrypted, so whatever the device sends to its cloud will be available only to you and the cloud provider. So vendor is definitely one piece of the puzzle. But then you have carriers. Carriers and ISPs are seeing all the communication that goes through their networks. And in many cases, they also provide routers that allow you to connect to the internet. So carriers is another piece that should be responsible for security of consumer IoT devices. Another piece is regulator. And I would like to see hands on how many people here believe that if we have law to set a default safe minimum for IoT devices, that would help the IoT sphere. Interesting. It's nobody. And I tend to agree with you because laws and regulations usually takes years to implement, and then there is a problem with punishing those that go against the law or regulations. And then it's us. Like Avast, there are many other different security providers that try to perform security and come up with devices or services that will protect the IoT as a whole. And we can adopt what we learn from PC and mobile phones in the IoT spectrum to protect against those devices. But securing IoT devices is especially challenging because, as you've seen in the first picture, there are a lot of them. They have different operating systems, if they have some. They have different programs. They communicate on different protocols. They're from different vendors, so there is no single basic device that would be the same as the other. And that's a problem because you can't create an endpoint security product for an IoT device, because that would take so much time. It would be so expensive that nobody will buy it. But the good thing is that IoT devices are much more predictable than PCs. So if you think about how you use your PC, you'll probably send an emails in the morning, watch some news, then go to work, then your child will play a bit of PC games. And it's a lot of actions that the PC can do. But the IoT devices are usually single purpose. That makes it very easy to identify anomalous behavior. So let me demonstrate it. On the graph there, you can see a number of flows, that's the number of communications that a single smart video camera did in a day. And you can see that prior to the infection here, it communicated with just a bunch of endpoints. It was very little communication that the camera did. And after the Mirai infection, the numbers rapidly increased, and it took a lot of time to get back to its original state. And it communicated in the beginning with around 10 endpoints. In the end, it were connected to 50,000 endpoints. So this is a very interesting problem for us researchers. And we realized that it would be a very important thing to do with AI. So you can take two approaches when identifying malicious behavior of IoT device. You can go the clean way, so go away and identify a legitimate device to see how it communicates, what are the endpoints, how often it talks to its cloud, and create a model based on this information. Or you can go the other way, the malicious way, and look at the current malware that is in the wild and see how it connects, and then try to identify the malicious behavior on the clean device. And for that, you need a lot of data. If you were to go the clean way, you would basically need to have every single device that's on Earth to be able to record its behavior and create a model based on it. Ideally, you would need to have multiple devices to accommodate for differences. And Avast is in very good spot here because with 400 million users that scan their networks, we have a very nice information about the devices that are in there. And I believe that AI will be the key to IoT safety. You've heard in the morning that AI is another tool, it's overhyped, and that's true, but it's a very, very strong tool to protect IoT devices. So what does Avast do to protect IoT? So we have partnered with telecom providers, and we work together to implement our software security on the routers they provide. And there have been a few starting plants in Italy and Ukraine where we already provided devices. And then later this year or in the beginning of the year 2019, we'll provide a separate device that you can plug in your network and don't worry about the security of your IoT devices anymore. And last thing to show you the future of IoT is 5G. In the consumer spectrum, you don't hear about it that much. But with 5G, most of the IoT devices will be able to communicate to the internet directly. They will not be connected to your personal network. They will go directly through your carrier, through your ISP. And then it will become more and more important that your carrier will take care of the security of your devices, because there will be no silver bullet at the time to cover it. So that's all from me about IoT. Thank you very much. Thank you for your listening, and have a nice day.